Hey guys, welcome to Truthlight, you can call me Rue. So today we are going to talk about something that's been taking up space in our media. Kashmir. I am pretty sure that you all have heard about Kashmir more or less. But today in this video, I'll be explaining the whole Kashmir conflict's root, and reason is why it is disputed, and why it is the world's most militarized zone with more than 7 lakh military personnel stationed in this region. So let's begin. Kashmir, the northernmost region of Indian subcontinent. Earlier in 20th century, Kashmir along with Jammu and wide ranges of Himalayas constituted a single princely state. But currently Kashmir is split in 3 parts. First part and largest portion of Kashmir land is administered by India, also known as India-occupied Kashmir, in short, IOK. Second part is administered by Pakistan, also known as Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, in short POK. And lastly, smallest split of Kashmir, that is also known as Pak gift to China or China-occupied Kashmir, in short, COK. So, whom does Kashmir actually belong to? To understand that, we have to go back to 1947 when British India got independence and 2 new countries were formed: India and Pakistan. Even before World War II, India's independence was in talks. Many protests and rebellions in different provinces forced British government to address issue of India's independence. And, end of Second World War, marked beginning of a new era for India too. At this time there were 2 main political groups, Muslim League and Indian National Congress, who were hell-bent on India's independence. Muslim League was one who was responsible for partition of India. They felt that Muslims will be dominated by Hindus in India, so they demanded a separate country for Muslims. It had its ups and downs, but that for another time. But somehow Muslim League leader at that time, Muhammad Jinnah, managed to split British India in 3 parts. Now you must be thinking, what's the third part? So let me clarify, partition was completely based on regional majority. Muslim majority areas went to Pakistan, while others went to India. 2 parts were made Pakistan territory, while rest were given to India. So eastern region of Bengal, a Muslim majority region, went to Pakistan, which was called East Pakistan at that time, though now it's a separate country called Bangladesh. The other part which went to Pakistan was western part of Punjab, which was called West Pakistan. By the time British left India, there were more than 500 princely states. These were those states which were not under direct control of British government. British only controlled their external and defence affairs, while internal affairs were handled by their respective rulers. So these states were given choice to either join Pakistan or India or remain independent. At first most states wanted to remain independent and opposed the idea of accession to either India or Pakistan. But with diplomacy and convincing, most of these states decided to accede into India or Pakistan, although few of these states still wanted to be independent. And Jammu and Kashmir was one of such states that resisted till it became inevitable. At that time, Kashmir was ruled by a Hindu king, Raja Hari Singh. And even though ruler was a Hindu, the majority was a Muslim, so there were some conflicts which were bound to happen. Also, even before partitions, the Muslims weren't very happy with their king. But after partition, when most of the princely states acceded to India or Pakistan, things got heated. Pakistan government, which was then led by Muhammad Jinnah, wanted Kashmir to accede in Pakistan, because of its Muslim majority status. But since the ruler of Kashmir is Hindu, so he feared that he will accede in India. As King Hari Singh had already declined Muslim League's offer of accession to Pakistan. But Muhammad Jinnah completely disregarded the fact that King had also rejected Indian offer for accession too. So Muslim League planned to create a private insurgency in Kashmir states. But final thrust came when Raja Hari Singh dismissed his prime minister, who was firm supporter of Kashmiri independence from both India and Pakistan. No one knows exactly why King decided to dismiss his prime advisor, but it was rather interpreted as King's change of mind for matters of accession. Pakistan government saw it as threat, and decided to use violent means, and as previously planned they led tribesmen's invasion in Kashmir, which became more prominent, when, Some of local people also rose up against King's rule. Pakistan also obstructed the necessary supplies. Due to sudden insurgency, Raja Hari Singh decided to ask for aid from India. Although Indian National Congress was more than willing to send its military to Kashmir. But last Viceroy of British India, Lord Mountbatten, advised Maharaja to succeed in India before India could send its troops. The rebels in Kashmir overpowered the royal forces, and seeing the condition getting worse, Raja Hari Singh fled to New Delhi, where he signed the accession. So on October 26, 1947, Raja Hari Singh officially acceded state of Jammu and Kashmir to India. This was also the triggering event for First Indo-Pak War. After accession, Indian troops were airlifted to Srinagar, and began advancing further toward western border to secure state of Kashmir from tribal militia. British government restricted Pakistan Army from entering the state of Jammu and Kashmir, citing the accession signed by Raja Hari Singh. But they relented, and Pakistani Army also moved towards international border, though official statements stated by Pakistani government called it guarding of Pakistani border, but in truth and later seen facts, Pakistani Army crossed international border and entered the Kashmir area, and continued their invasion till they were confronted Indian troops. It's believed that Pakistan Army were already prepared for the invasion, so they managed to invade a large region alongside tribal forces, before they were confronted by Indian troops. Pakistani forces with full strength had begun their major strikes in northwestern region of Kashmir and continued their invasion further south. In beginning, the war was tough for Indian front considering tribal forces were already at key position in many regions. But after months of fighting, and later increase in Indian reinforcement, Indian Army overpowered and launched its early spring offensive attack. So after May 1, 1948, Indian offensive strikes forced Pakistan Army to fall back. Later Kargil, one of the strategic key position, was captured by Indian troops, along with others. But in general, war was in full rage. During the skirmish, lot of human right violation was reported, villages were destroyed, children were killed, but the wrath was directed toward Hindu and Buddhist population. Hundreds of women were abducted and raped, and later sold in Pakistan. Around 400 women committed suicide by jumping into wells. Lord Mountbatten, last Viceroy of British India, also proposed for election in Kashmir in order to decide the matter of accession, but Muhammad Jinnah, leader of Muslim League, declined, claiming that elections are not needed because according to the conditions of partition, Muslim majority areas belong to Pakistan. But again, there was a loophole. Kashmir was a princely state, so norms of partition could not be applied to Kashmir. It also believed that Muhammad Jinnah was somewhat afraid that in spite Kashmir having majority Muslim population, they would support India. Because Sheikh Abdullah, a Kashmiri leader, who also led the rebellion against Maharaj Hari Singh, and who was formerly imprisoned by Raja Hari Singh, had pro-India sentiments. As he was only released after Jawaharlal Nehru demanded his release in exchange for India's military aid against Pakistan. So since Sheikh Abdullah had good relations with India, so it could have been possible that Kashmiri people would have supported India's claim. Another reason was vandalism by tribesmen who invaded Kashmir. Not many people would love to see their land sacked by foreigners. So at that time, it was another factor due to which Muhammad Jinnah refused to hold an election in Kashmir. Indian Congress leader Nehru appealed to UN to intervene and solve the matter in January 1, 1948, but UN intervention only fruited results in January 1949, so after the intervention of UN, the Indo-Pak War of 1947 ended with a ceasefire. The armies were directed to halt, and maintain a line of control where they stand. Even now LOC stands, and even now it's a disputed region. The three main steps for holding a referendum in Kashmir were: first, Pakistan must remove all its nationals and military personnel from Kashmir. Second, India must reduce its forces to minimum. And third, India must let UN direct the referendum process. These were the recommendation in United Nations Resolution 47. But in later years, India also seemed against holding any referendum. because India rejected all proposed plans of UN Council, citing some fault in each plan. It is said that, before death of Nehru, he had decided to sort Kashmir issues with public referendum, but that idea also died along with Nehru. India also cites example of Pakistani insurgents in Kashmir as challenge for fair referendum. Well, now same things happened in Junagadh, where king was Muslim, and majority was Hindu. A Muslim ruler acceded to Pakistan. But Indian government on 9th of November 1947 took control of Junagadh by force, against the accession signed by King of Junagadh, to Pakistan. Though later plebiscite was conducted, in which 99.95% people voted for accession in India. So the anticipation of Pakistan government was to annex Kashmir and discard the accession signed by Raja Hari Singh. So big failure for Pakistan was not been able to annex Jammu and Kashmir before Indian forces arrived, and secondly was obvious rejection of referendum by Mohammed Jinnah. Now, if we move to the third country which is involved in Kashmir, that is China. China is always known for having disputes over territories with almost every neighboring country, also claimed Aksai Chin in 1950 that is northeastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. China claims it to be part of Xizang Autonomous Region, though there are no reliable sources to prove this fact. China have also built a highway passing through Aksai Chin, and that is only significance of that region, as most of its part is vacated and uninhabited. India-China have fought before for this region but later decided to solve matter peacefully with negotiation and holding a ceasefire over line of actual control. But Indian government haven't taken any actions for taking it back or even negotiating, as it's of no use and since China won't be giving it back without a wrestling match. So India still remain focused on major territorial disputed region of Arunachal Pradesh, which is also claimed by China, and obviously Kashmir, which is claimed by Pakistan. Now, this region is known as China-occupied Kashmir. But, there's still another region of Kashmir, that is administered by China. China administers about 2050 to 5,000 square kilometers in the northern part of Kashmir. As sources are still not clear, numbers are variable. Now main question is how in world did China got control of this part, and how it is even Chinese territory? Well, in past, China even had land disputes with Pakistan, so Pakistan negotiated around 2050 to 5,000 square kilometers land in POK region to China, in return for 750 square kilometers of mainland Pakistan, which was claimed by China. Though Pakistan claims it to be 1942 square kilometers. Now this deal does seem unsymmetrical. But don't get confused, Pakistan did not sign any blind deal. Pakistan sold something which they don't have. Obviously Pakistan have whatsoever no legal control over POK. So, only party that got screwed in this deal were Kashmiri peoples, whose lands were negotiated without any consultation with them on the matter. So legally, Kashmir belongs to India, if instrument of accession by Raja Hari Singh has to be taken into consideration. But it does not. If Pakistan's argument is to be considered, that Kashmiri people overthrew king's rule, before he signed the accession instrument. So Raja Hari Singh had no right whatsoever to accede to India. Pakistan claims to be on moral ground, to justify its actions in Kashmir, but seeing Pakistan negotiated the POK lands, and even using POK lands for building mega projects is not so much on moral ground. Maybe Pakistan is not very much in favor of separate Kashmir as independent state, in spite of its promises and statements in international forums, and in locals. On the other hand, Indian forces are claimed to be disturbing peace and violating human rights in Kashmir by International Amnesty, and UN Human Rights Commission. Hundreds of cases of physical abuse by Indian security forces as well as local police forces are reported. Even rape cases are reported. But even Indian Army acknowledged some of these incidents and convicted personnels were court-martialed. International Amnesty appreciated this move of Indian Army, but also criticized, as the convicts were given trial and punishment in army court rather than civilian court. But other than few cases, which were acknowledged by Indian Army, other accusations were firmly rejected by Indian government. by citing example of 2014 flood where Indian armed forces rescued thousands of people in Jammu and Kashmir. And also justifying the military actions in Kashmir only against stone throwers and militants, India continues to keep its stance. But in spite Indian government's stand on Kashmir, it cannot be denied that there is separatist movement going on in Kashmir, which is strongly pro-Pakistan, and is getting financed by Pakistan, which is increasing pace day by day. UN have also advised Pakistan to stop interfering in Indian-administered region of Kashmir by providing weapon, training and finance in Kashmir. The insurgency has also forced migration of thousands of Kashmiri Pandits out of Kashmir by militants and separatists in northeastern Kashmir, where houses were burned in midnight, and with loudspeakers, warning were broadcasted, which forced thousands of people to become refugees in peripheral states. Muslim majority supports separatist idea, while other communities like Buddhists, Hindus and others oppose the movement. This has created separate territories and single state of Jammu and Kashmir. The areas like Leh and Jammu are quite pro-India as compared to people in the northwestern part of state. So guys, this is it. Tell me if there's anything you want to know about, which was not covered in this video, and decide by yourself, who is convict, and who is real victim. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.